Hello everyone, welcome to My English, My Life, an online program to learn English classes from 6 to class 12 without any interruption during these holidays. I hope you are all enjoying the classes without any trouble. You are listening to the classes, and I'm hoping that you are enjoying the classes. Don't forget to subscribe who are watching this video first time, and make your friends by sharing the videos. Let them learn. At the same time, you to share to your friends, because we need more relation between the teacher and student. Then because if you get more watching, then I will get more interest that my children are watching my videos. Then I with a great interest I used to make more videos efficiently in a smooth manner. So thank you for your support, and go for supporting like this. And today we are for 10th class. Today we are in the unit 4 film and theatre. And it is a great enjoyment for you to enjoy, because most of the people will enjoy watching movies, and to get more information about movies and theaters, because we are very interested about movies. So at the time of free time, everybody used to watch some funny movies, some emotional movies, some different kinds of movies, which makes you feel very comfortable and to make time for pass or to enjoy the time. Same here, today we have one more important lesson from the first one in film and theatre air reading, that is for you, that is Rendezvous with Ray. So Ray is Satyajit Ray, a familiar and famous Indian director, and writer and a playwright. Many familiar movies he has taken by in Bengali in Bengal, and with the Bengali movies he was very familiar, and he received many honorary awards because of his best direction and same best playwrights. So because he concentrate on the issues what is going around in India, and he exposed to all the people around the world. Because of his movies, he shown what is going in India, and he made all the people, especially Western countries, all the people to know that what is going in India. Because of his movies, they come to know what is happening in India. So today we are going to know about Satyajit Ray and his movies. At the same time, about one more person who was attracted, who was inspired by the movies of Satyajit Ray, who came to India by his own words. Let's discuss from the lesson Rendezvous with Ray. Rendezvous means the meeting place or the meeting. So now we are going to meet Satyajit Ray from the beginning to end. We will come to know what his real nature and his character and his behavior towards his movies and his audience and with his friends. So let's begin the class. It was a unique friendship that developed between a French-Canadian priest and one of the world's greatest film directors, and had a singular impact on Bengali films both academically and practically. It was entered to India in 1961 at a stopover in New York at that 26-year-old father Gaston Roberts was acquainted with the works of Satyajit Ray through the Apu Trilogy. He found the world of Apu so fascinating that he saw all 3 films in one sitting. And there began his long-standing love affair with the people of India and Bengali cinema and culture, which led to path-breaking work in those fields. In his latest books, Satyajit Ray Essays 1970-2005, a compilation of his essays, as the name suggests, being published by Manohar Publishers in New Delhi, Robert provides a scholarly, original analysis of Ray works, giving an insight into the greatness of Ray, both as a person as an artist. So here comes a person, name is Gaston Roberts, a Canadian priest who was attracted towards Indian culture, and especially it was shown by Satyajit Ray because of his through his movies. Most probably we know the familiar movies Apu Trilogy, means the world of Apu, Aparjito, Patar Panchali, and the world of Apu. The 3 movies called Apu Trilogy means there will come to the life of Apu. The boy how he grown up, how he faced his childhood, and how he became a young person how he got job, after getting job, what he did. So all the story of Apu was made in the form of 3 movies by Satyajit Ray. Called one is Aparjito, Patar Panchali, and third one is the world of Apu. So when our Gaston Roberts, the priest who watched the movies Apu, the world of Apu, immediately he was attracted towards the cinematography. He was fascinated about the direction of the life of Apu and the direction of Satyajit Ray. So immediately again he took the first two parts of Pata Panchali and Apajito. Then immediately he watched those two films, and in one sitting he watched three movies, and he come to know he was really amazed at the direction of our Satyajit Ray, and he was attracted towards the culture of India. Then immediately he started coming towards India. That made him, the films made by Satyajit Ray made Dr. Gaston Roberts, and a Canadian priest, to come to India to look at and to start a relation with Satyajit Ray. The Apu Trilogy was, in fact, my first portal to West Bengal and its people, he told Frontline. In his youth, all he knew of Bengal was through Mirisha Elida, a Lanyot Bengali, some of the Tagore poems, and a Reader's Digest, an article on Mother Teresa. If the harsh image of poverty brought out by the article on the saints of the slums haunted him, Apu's world came to reassurance. No, Apu, Sarbujaya, even Harihar did not need my help, but how not to love them? I thought it was fortunate that I would soon be among them, he wrote. So Gaston Roberts, he's saying to a Frontline on a news news magazine. So he's sharing his views about Satyajit Ray, how he was attracted towards Satyajit Ray, and how he started loving Satyajit Ray for his movies. So when he watched Apu Trilogy, immediately he was decided definitely how to go back to India, because not only Apu Trilogy, at the same time he mentioned some articles there which was clearly given about the Bengali culture, Indian culture, and what is happening in India, especially an article on Mother Teresa made him to be more inspired. Yes, definitely I want to see the place. I want to be one of the person in this culture. So immediately he was attracted towards the people of India and their culture. So Gaston Roberts started migrating to India because of Satyajit Ray and some of the articles which has shown especially what is going in India and the poverty what is in India. So clearly explained by the articles, at the same time movies of Satyajit Ray. Roberts does not endorse the accusation of race detractors that the master director made his reputation selling India's poverty to West. What struck me most was not the material poverty depicted in the films, but the enormous spiritual poverty of some rich people is much more deplorable than material poverty. He said, Roberts doesn't speak with the arrogance of the West. I was here on the quest to know the world is in the process, know myself. I didn't come here to convert. In fact, I am the one who got converted, he said. So here, Gaston Roberts clearly is saying that because of Satyajit Ray movies, all the Western people come to know what is going in India, what is happening in India, what is the culture, what is the poverty condition, how people are suffering, how the people of India were living. So all we come to know because of Satyajit Ray movies. And here, most of the people will criticize, the criticizers of Satyajit Ray will say that because of his movies, all the people come to know what is going in India. But I feel very happy because I was the person who watched the movies of Satyajit Ray, and I was amazed about the poverty. He is not talking about material poverty of Indian. He was talking about the spiritual poverty. When we watch the world of Apu, the Patar Panchali, in that movie he will show the poverty of rich people, how the people of India, rich people who are having a spiritual poverty. What they're thinking means they thought having more and giving more and making more rituals and making more things will become, they are more having more spiritual knowledge. But clearly Satyajit Ray, he clearly pointed and he clearly criticized the people of India who are having that type of deplorable and unacceptable religious aspects. Clearly he was shown in his movie. That was attracted by our Gaston Roberts, and he came to India and he's saying that most of the people, if any person come to India, especially Western people, Every people will say that they came to convert. They came to convert the people from Hinduism to Christianity or to the Islam. So some people will criticize, some people will comment that they came for converting people into another religion. But here clearly Gaston Roberts was saying one word, that is, I didn't come to India to convert the people, because I was already converted by the words of by the movies of Satyajit Ray. So clearly Gaston Roberts is saying that he came to remove the spiritual poverty and he came to know what is happening in our India. So clearly he is saying that I didn't come here to change the people. I didn't come to convert the people's religion. I came here because as I was a converted people, because the movies of Satyajit Ray had converted Western people, especially Gaston Roberts, who came to India to meet Satyajit Ray. But it took him 9 years after reaching Calcutta and joining St. Xavier's College to muster up the confidence to meet Ray in person. Although I wanted to meet him right away, I did not want to just see him like he was as a living museum piece. I want to prepare myself to get to know his works more, so that when we met, there could be a worthwhile dialogue, he said. When they finally met, it was the beginning of a close friendship lasted 22 years until Ray's death in 1992. So here clearly he is saying that Gaston Roberts, he came to India. After coming to India, it took him 9 years. Why? Because he wanted to make a good friendship with Satyajit Ray. He don't want to meet him high and by. So for these 9 years, he worked in a college, St. Xavier's College. He worked as a lecturer there, and there he taught education. At the same time, he was going to Satyajit Ray to watch his movies and to make how he was doing, how he was. So these 9 years, he observed Satyajit Ray. So after observing, then he went to Satyajit Ray and he started talking to Satyajit Ray from the beginning to till now, till that meeting spot. He discussed all those things, because he said that if I go, he will say, how are you, simply finished. But if I know fully about Satyajit Ray, about his life, then immediately there will be more time to discuss more things. So that made Gaston Roberts to wait for 9 years. Later, after 9 years, he went and he met Satyajit Ray. After meeting, that was a relationship started and long for 22 years till the death of Satyajit Ray in the year of 1992. So there we can understand how Gaston Roberts, a Western person, and Satyajit Ray, an Indian, how they bonded a good relationship. So there was at the end of the relationship. Later we can come to know that it was very quite friendship that developed over the years. Manikda means, as Ray was affectionately called by his friends, was a shy person and always very discreet about displaying his emotions, said Roberts. Though to outsiders, Ray's massive stature, physical and intellectual, might have made him come across as cold, aloof, and even intimidating. He was in reality a very simple and unassuming man with a subtle sense of humor. It was an unspoken arrangement between the two of them to meet on Sundays at 9 a.m. at Ray's residence on Bishop Lefroy Road, Calcutta. Ray would invite Roberts over for private screenings of his latest films and welcome comments on them. But this happened after the friendship had cemented. For in the early days, for the dialogue, Ray's shyness prevented him from talking about his own feelings. So here we will know that Satyajit Ray was very because he was a familiar director, famous director. So if we go there, we will feel that maybe he won't talk to us and he will be more rude, he will be more proud and he won't talk to us. But the people who knows well about Satyajit Ray will call him as Manik, that means a lovable person. And especially the inner character of Satyajit Ray he was very shyful person. He won't speak any single word to unknown person. So he was very shy person. So with the shyful person, clearly his inner character now revealed by our Gaston Roberts. Most of people will think that Satyajit Ray was very proud and rude and he won't talk. The reason is he was very shyful person. At the same time, when we started a relationship, then he used to call us on Sundays. We will discuss all the things and he will ask to comment on his movies, and he won't take prize. He won't take appreciation. He don't like to be fall into temptation because of prizing. So he don't like prizes. So means prizing means getting more exaltation. So that was the inner character of Satyajit, which was revealed by Gaston Roberts. After cementing a good friendship, then he come to know what is the inner character of Satyajit Ray, and clearly he's sharing to us now in the form of an interview with the frontline. He was even shy for receiving compliments, said Roberts. To Robert, the greatest mark of Ray's appreciation for him that he often addressed the French-speaking priest in Bengali. In spite of my lack of elegance in that language and the fact that Ray knew both English and Bengali so well. So here he's saying that he don't like compliments. Satyajit Ray, even he was a great director, he don't like compliments. He will ask for the commenting on his movies, but he don't take compliments. He don't want appreciation. Simply he'll say, okay, thank you very much. So later, one of the important thing that he is that even the Gaston Roberts was little bit knows Bengali, but here Satyajit Ray was very well in speaking English, at the same time Bengali. So he was very well in Bengali and he was very fluent in English. So that was the nature, that was the talent of Satyajit Ray. For that only his movies was very familiar in Western countries on those days in 1990s. Next, Ray's screenplays manuscripts were an art by themselves. Robert says handwritten in Bengali with notes in English for his set designer with sketches here and there and occasional staff notation of fragments of music. On Sunday morning, Roberts found Ray in disturbed mood. A few well-known personalities of the city had visited him earlier to go through some of his manuscripts. After they left, Ray found the Charlotte screenplay missing. Ray was almost sure who was the culprit was. I asked him whether he was planning to take any action, and he said no, and explained to me that he did not want to hurt the reputation of the person. I was absolutely stunned by his humane concern, said Robert. So now here what he's saying, especially one day he was sitting in a disturbed mood. Satyajit Ray. Before the day, Sunday, many people visited, many screenplay writers visited Satyajit Ray, and after when they left, he found that one of his scripts, what he written in Bengali and English, it was missing. One of the movie named Charlotte script has been missed. Then immediately he was disturbed. Then at the time our Gaston Roberts enters there and he asked, what happened, my dear friend, why are you looking so dull? Then he said that clearly, one of my scripts were missing. Charlotte script has been stolen by some person. And he said that whether you are going to take any action. He said, no, I don't want, because I know the person who the culprit was, but he don't want to take any action. Why? Because he don't want to hurt the reputation of the person. So clearly we come to know how a kind person Satyajit Ray was. He knows the culprit, but he don't want to take any action. In my view, that if you want to take any movie, let him take, because of that he will become very familiar. The movie, the artist, the qualities will go on expanding. At the same time, the movie will goes on. Then he will become another person to direct more movies. So that was the kind nature of Satyajit Ray, which was attracted, which made our Gaston Roberts to stun at the moment. So that was one of the great kind nature of Satyajit Ray. Like Rabindranath Tagore, Ray strode his time like Colossus. Roberts writes, it is as if all Bengal was in Manikda, the rich and the poor, the powerful and humble, the peasants and the city of persons, children, teenagers, adults and old people, men and women. So here clearly one more word he is saying that he is comparing Satyajit to Rabindranath Tagore, who was a revolutionary writer, who encouraged the people of India and who showed what is going in India by his writings, especially we know the Gitanjali writer. So he is comparing Satyajit Ray to Rabindranath Tagore. What he saying, all the Bengal was in Manik. That means Satyajit Ray. All his whatever the people of in rich people, poor, elder, younger, older, small kids, so rich people and the beggars, all the people who are all the people around India inside the Manik. That means all the people's nature. So for that only clearly he is showing all the people characters, all the people behaviors, how the people, rich people will behave, how the poor people will behave, how old people will behave, how the adult will behave, how the children will behave, how the teenagers will behave. So all the ages, respect of ages, and the characters and the qualities were clearly mentioned in his movies, clearly shown in the form of movie, that made all the people to attract towards the movies of Satyajit. That was the greatest credit to Satyajit Ray. Gaston Roberts is comparing to Rabindranath Tagore with a great writer. So let us continue and how he is comparing Gaston Roberts to Rabindranath Tagore, in which aspects he compared. Let's read. Philosophically too, Roberts feels Ray took off where Tagore signed out. If one compares the last major prose piece by Tagore, Shabanthar Sangit's Crisis of Civilization, which he wrote at the beginning of the Second World War, which contains his immortal dictum that in spite of what was happening, it would be a sin to lose faith in man, and the last three films of Ray, Ganashastru, Shaka Prakshaka, and Agantak, the analogy becomes clear. So here Gaston Roberts is comparing Satyajit Ray to Rabindranath Tagore, in which aspect? Means in philosophy. In philosophical manner, he is comparing Satyajit Ray to our Rabindranath Tagore. Why? Because where Rabindranath Tagore stopped, when he was left the world, where he stopped, where the philosophy has been ended, then our Satyajit Ray took the same philosophy and he continued his life. So here he is saying that what Tagore signed out, there he took, and he started continuing the philosophy of Tagore, exposing and explaining the people. And here he clearly mentioning that people has lost faith in man. People, crisis of civilization at the time of Second World War, what he written, same matter he took and he shown in his three movies, last movies of Satyajit Ray. Clearly he mentioned that human beings lost faith on man. They are not believing on man. They are not believing human beings, because nowadays we lost humanity. Nowadays we lost faith in human, because nobody is believing others. We don't know who is the culprit. We don't know who is the criminal, who is good, who is bad. We don't know, because so now we decide not to believe any person in the world. So that movie has been reflected in those days, 1990s, by Satyajit Ray. So clearly we'll come to that, how he clearly shown, how Rabindranath Tagore shown, clearly he has shown in the form of philosophy and his movies. In these three films, Ray was at his most personal, and when some critics saw the films and director and verbose, he felt deeply hurt. For in these last films, Satyajit was directly talking to us, conveying his personal message on society and civilization, if the impulse that motivated his earlier films was aesthetics. In the last three, it was self-expression, and there were denying him his right to speak. As the saying goes, no one is a prophet in one's own country, said Roberts. An agnostic thought out his life, it is possible Roberts feels that in the face of death, Ray was searching for an answer. This was suggested by the music that he used in Shaka Prakshaka. So clearly here one more saying that when he directed those three films of his last films, most of the people, most of the Indian directors and writers criticized our Satyajit Ray, because clearly he's showing what is happening in India, about the civilization, about the society, about the cultures, about the richness and about the poverty in India. So clearly he's shown the people in the form of three movies. So most of the people who are the writers, the directors has criticized it, and they said they denied the right to speak of Satyajit Ray. But Satyajit Ray was not stopped, because previously he took all the movies for aesthetics, to enjoy, for the fun, for the showing all the skills, and to show ragas and thalas, and to show all the things. But here the last three movies were his self-expression, his personal message, what is going in India. Clearly he's shown in the form of last three movies, and clearly most of the people criticized him. And Gaston Roberts used one word from the biblical statement from Bible. What he took means, no one is a prophet in his own country. Means a person who was very, very familiar around the world, he won't get any appreciation from his local people. So same thing, the word he impacted towards Sachit Ray. All the world prized Sachit Ray, but the Indian people, the Bengali people, who are the writers and readers of Bengali, has criticized Sachit Ray for his movies of the three movies, what he's shown the culture, civilization, what is going in the society. So that made the people of India to suffer, because it was revealed what is going in India. The last time the two friends met, Ray was in hospital on his deathbed. It was Sunday, and Roberts, true to habit, arrived on the dot at 9. He had grown so weak that he looked frail as a child. He did not stay long, and as I was leaving, Mike said, "Bhalo lagholo." It was nice. There were his last words to me, said Robert. So finally, and he was last time when he met Sachit Ray in the hospital, that is Sunday, 9 o'clock. Every Sunday they used to meet at 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock Robert went to Sachit Ray in the 9 o'clock to meet him in the hospital. When he met, he talked, he was very weak and he looked like a child and funny. And again, when he was leaving, he said, "It was very nice relationship with you, my dear Gaston Roberts." That was the last words said to Roberts by Sachit Ray. He said that, "I am very happy to, and it was very nice to have you at the great friendship, my dear friend." That was the last words said by Sachit Ray to Gaston Roberts. One important fallout of this friendship was the establishment of Chitrabani, a communication and a film institute, the first of its kind in West Bengal, which Roberts founded in 1970, and to which Ray, as a token of friendship, lent his name as a co-founder. Ray was in the first governing body, and after a few terms readily agreed to be the institute advisor. Roberts arranged most of the initial funding from Canadian agencies. "I had no reservation applying for them, for I feel richer countries to the west are indebted to countries like India," he said. So after that, with the great friendship of Gaston Roberts and Sachit Ray, Gaston Roberts started an institute, film institute in West Bengal, to encourage Indian people who are interested to make films, who are interested in acting. So with that, in 1970, he started Chitrabani, an institute to support all the Indians who are interested to act. So with that, when he started, he was the founder, and he made Sachit Ray as a co-founder. Later he became the advisor. Later he was supported Sachit Ray and his institution with his great encouragement. The last conclusion of the story, and he got many funds from the Western countries to support Indian people and to develop the film industries and to develop film and theatre in India. For 26 years, Roberts was the director of Chitrabani, and under him, the institute not only produced important documentary features but also became breeding ground for local talent for filmmaking. So, for 26 years, Gaston Roberts was the director and the founder of Chitrabani. Later, he was passed away. Later, that it became the foundation for many people who are interested in acting, not only for many documentaries, films. At the same time, that film institute encouraged many people to come into the field of films and to act, the form of acting and filmmaking, in the direction and filmmaking and music. So he encouraged many people with that institute. So that made people to remember Gaston Roberts and Sachit Ray for his movies. So clearly in this lesson we'll come to that the meeting with Sachit Ray made the life of Gaston Roberts to change his entire career and to choose to start Chitrabani and to make India to flourish in the film and theatre. So that is the end of this rendezvous with the Ray. Thank you for watching this video. If you are having any doubts, please comment below and let me know the doubts. And don't forget to subscribe who are watching these videos and share to your friends. Let them learn. And thank you for watching. Have a great day and see you and meet you in the next class. Until bye bye. Take care.